This is Seth Bausell, blackearthproductions, Blue Flame Healing Arts, and Occult Science, Temple of the White Dragon. Back again on another segment. Today I am joined with someone I've known for quite a while. His name is Seth Lavine. He's a starseed who has experienced a lifelong contacted interface with many interdimensional races. He is well aware of his origin in terms of the central sun and his soul stream, which has held many positions in and above this game grid simultaneously at the same time to his actual origin. He has realized that he is a catalyst facet of the higher force here on Earth. Not only has he been initiated into the great mystery, he also holds a position to assist this process with other individuals. He and I have known each other for quite a while, and for more than just this incarnation in terms of confirmations that have come to both of us over the years confirming this. It's been a long time coming here in terms of the platform, and Seth Lavine is shaman class. Both of us are ancient souls, and he is also a Campbell practitioner, a multidimensional master healer to his 33 signature core frequency of consciousness to his personal path work. He knows how to read the field on a multidimensional level, and has also proved it on certain levels of disclosure that we are going to drop really fucking hard in terms of evidence and things that we're going to be discussing in this segment. Seth, it's awesome to have you on, brother. Let's start with timeline experience in terms of what you want to share in network.
Seth Giss, thanks for having me on. It's been a long time coming. Before I get into the timeline and everything, I'm a lifelong contactee. Had interface with the star beings growing up as a child. Stopped for a while, and then 10 years ago I was contacted in my backyard, and it's been every day since with many different races. When I really started putting myself out there, the attacks came, because there are groups that don't want this information getting out. I went through a series of initiations to get where I am now, and I've got footage to prove it.
You definitely do have the footage to prove it. And in terms of actual interface, I too have experienced lifelong interaction and context. And it's interesting how all of this has come out, especially in the last 20 years, when we were already having these experiences when we were kids, man.
When you're a kid, I didn't understand it back then. I think I was like 9 or 10 years old. I was on this desert biology field trip. I had seen things in the sky before this, but I hadn't really pieced it together. We're on this desert biology field trip, and there's 20 kids and 20 parents. And we're hiking around Arizona with black lights because scorpions fluoresce under black light. Moonlight, no clouds, no wind, chill night. And I'm looking at the moonlit trails, and we're walking around. I see the sky flash and reflect from the ground, and I'm thinking, what? Lightning? There's no clouds. The flash came from everywhere, not a particular point. We look up, and this huge blue sphere rips over the crowd. Everyone sees it. Whoa, oh my God. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. I didn't know why I reacted like that. Everyone else was scared. For some reason, I knew that experience had something to do with me intuitively, even back then as a child. A week later, I was staying the night at a friend's house, and he lived on the upper floor of this 2-story house. And there's this big window in the middle and like a bed on each side. I couldn't sleep. I get up and look out the window, and just in my mind, I say, if that experience was for me, let me know. And then this huge bright white light lights up in the field next to his house. But then it lifts up and lifts up and lifts way up into the sky, and my mind's eye opens up. It kind of freaked me out back then, so I stepped back. Whoa, I'm not ready. So I had that experience, that memory growing up. And even having those experiences as a kid, if I would have heard someone talking the way I'm talking without showing proof, I would have laughed it off. Even having those experiences, people are so conditioned and programmed to what's right in front of their face. It sounds out there, but the shit's real. So I know you know.
Absolutely know it's real, man. I remember the first time I was in elementary school, 2nd or 3rd grade. We were at a ice cream social. And I remember I was walking up to the classroom door, and all of a sudden I had this feeling shoot through me. And when I looked up into the fucking sky, I saw this giant crimson red disc go like this. Remember, I was just standing there like, what the fuck did I just see?
And those were the Arcturians.
That's trippy, man. Okay. Let's speak about the Arcturians for a second, because both you and I have Arcturian codex.
That red ship, that's a color that they turn. I've noticed their ships are either white, and then they can change to purple. But when they do that, it's usually like if you're there with a woman and there's like balanced masculine and feminine energies there, and they turn purple, and it's very rare that that happens. And then they can turn red also.
Yeah, it was this deep crimson red color, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the Arcturians.
Interestingly enough, things in terms of the Arcturian Codex are to do with avian genetics, which go back to those that have the abilities in terms of templating when it comes to magic and shamanism, very specifically in context of what's been revealed to me. That's really interesting that you're confirming that this red disc that I saw when I was in fucking grade school was the Arcturians.
Yeah, see, if you look back in your life, there's all these little signs and synchronicities, and you start to piece it together. They've been making themselves known the whole time.
I didn't get any sort of bad vibe from it either, man, versus other things that I've actually fucking experienced. It's systematically been like that with me as well. People want to cling on to the idea that we are the only ones here on Earth. You're sadly fucking mistaken. You have had extensive amounts of interface, not only to what you've shared with me, but also the evidence. If people want a true sense of disclosure, this is where you're going to get it today, because we actually have the goddamn fucking evidence. Not only the evidence, but to other experiences that I know Seth Lavine has had in terms of the correspondence we've had over the years. We've had our discrepancies and we've had our disagreements about certain things, and you took it upon yourself to come into initiation with the mystery school, and we've known each other for quite a long time. And I think it's been for more than just this lifetime. What a time to be alive on planet Earth, as far as I'm fucking concerned. Because to that, in terms of what's been revealed, we incarnated to make the goddamn fucking course correct, because there are forces on the other side of this that are absolutely, totally fucking malevolent. The different factions and the different agendas in context, if you want to start breaking that down, that'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a remembering process. I haven't had it all right the whole time, and I've been slowly piecing it together and critiquing it and to paint this picture, you know. And in the past, we've had our discrepancies, but then we've always seen eye to eye eventually. And I remember you from the other side. I know your soul, and I know you come from inside the central sun, the true origin.
Right.
So
that's the other fucking factor. Not everybody is of the central sun here. That's another thing.
Yeah,
that I want to make very fucking clear, because if that were the case, then things would not be the way that they are.
There's a lot of different age souls, different amounts of experience souls here in this game grid, a whole vast array. 10 years ago, I couldn't sleep one night. I went outside, and this is when I lived in the Central Coast in California, just talking to the universe. If you can hear me, show me a sign. And these huge shooting stars kept ripping by right on command. This huge gold one, like really low, rips by, and I was like, whoa. This goes on for a half hour. I was able to make it happen on cue. Before I could even voice the words in my head, I said, thanks for the shooting stars. It's getting cold. I'm going to go inside now. And as soon as I said that, this green craft pops in, does this huge, rips across the sky, does this huge sweeping turn, comes around the other side, then goes translucent, and then pops out.
I have a question about that, because I was taking a drive where I was living before, and one night on my way back, I saw this green craft or streak across the fucking sky. In terms of that being green, what would you say that is? It's highly, highly fucking unique.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that. Those are the Pleiadians. They came through with their ship literally 40 feet above me. This is trippy. So it was just a huge green luminous orb, 30 feet wide. And it came ripping in at light speed, just bam, to a complete stop right above me. It starts getting dimmer and dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. And I start to see this disc appear in the middle, but it's translucent until it's a fucking fully solid metal disc floating there. And I could see just a little bit of the electrons, the corona arcing, because there's a north and a south, positive and a negative, and that's how electricity moves. They work on torsion field mathematics. So I literally saw it power down and phase into this third dimension. And then once it became completely solid and all the luminosity went away, it starts moving around like this. Once we materialize in this third dimension, we use a different drive system, which floats on the magnetic waves of the Earth in flux like water, like a boat. And then it floated off over the fence out of sight. And then it came in from the other side again, light speed, and did that whole thing again right above me. And
yeah,
I mean, I could have thrown a rocket at it. It was that close. And Even knowing who it was, this was still kind of new to me. It kind of freaked me out. I was like, okay, that's enough for tonight. I'm going to call it enough. And I went inside and I was thinking, okay, I can make this happen again at a later date. Turns out they were just testing me to see how much I could deal with, because it's very hard to make that happen. Most of the time, they're at a distance, flying around, powering up and stuff, but there's been many times where they came close and showed me their craft. There has been times when they landed. They came in my room, and those were the Arcturians.
How do you mean they came in your room?
I was about to have surgery coming up because I've got a titanium plate and 4 screws in my neck from motorcycles. I'm laying there in pain, telepathically called to them, fucking UFOs with all this technology, come hook a brother up. I'm down here in pain. Do something. Shortly after that, I was awake laying in bed. All of a sudden, my consciousness gets pulled out of my body, and I'm looking at myself laying on a bed from up above on the ceiling. And all of a sudden, 3 beings appear on the side of me. One of them reaches inside and moves my spine, and I feel my body moving simultaneously. I feel them touching me, and it freaked me out. And I lifted my arm up, and then they phased out and went away. And I came back into my body.
Now, in terms of craft being green, which faction of the actual Pleiadians? Because there's discrepancy in terms of the Alcyons. I can get into the history of that. I have touched upon that in terms of the betrayals that took place, the Electric Wars, and Maldek and all this fucking shit. Talk about the different factions and how you're able to distinguish between the malevolent and benevolent factions in terms.
Every race isn't necessarily all good or all bad. It's just like humans. It's going to be a broad spectrum. Discernment is super important. You've got to feel it out. And there's a lot of imposters out there, and they can project a different hologram over themselves. They can look like somebody else. They can mask their frequency and bliss people out in the lower chakras. It's not up to the heart center. The amount of imposturing and deceiving that's out there is fucking unreal. It comes with experience. You have to realize and test and approve everything. Put it through the test.
Actually having spiritual discernment in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. You're not getting pulled into this host field bullshit to get your goddamn fucking consciousness and genetics wrecked the fuck out. And in terms of attacks, all these different kinds of things that can happen to people, both you and I have experienced attacks on levels beyond fucking words, yeah?
It almost killed me, man. Alcyon is one of the fallen factions, Pleiadians, and some of the benevolent ones are from Tegeta. This is very ancient. These are just origins we're talking about. There's many different beings that I interact with, and they all work together. It's called the Alliance, the Galactic Alliance of Free Worlds, here to help humanity become free. But they're not going to do the work for us. They're here to get us to stand up and say no and take our divine power back, because this is our fucking world.
Exactly.
You know?
One of the things that's revealed to me in terms of the ancient past and how it was set up, the motherfuckers that came here, interdimensionally speaking, were taught by the ancestors in context to being human. And there's a lot of discrepancy in terms of this community where there's an assumption that some off-world fucking entity is of higher intelligence or whatever the fuck, where we reside, being at the spear tip of evolution, the way that the wisdom councils in the position to assist the process of the biospiritual regenesis. In order to actually evolve, you had to come here and incarnate in terms of being human, no matter what our celestial origins are. And I just released the metaphysical celestial psychology reading on the platform in terms of services. So if people want to get a hold of their actual fucking blueprints, the galactic spirals of creation, this is made available on Black Earth Productions. Would you agree that within our templating that we have these genetics in context, and then when we start to activate, we could potentially have interface with these factions, so to speak, in terms of correspondence?
Yeah, this is a natural part of the awakening process. You start to become multidimensional and you realize that the dimensions are full of life all around you. And there's light, there's dark, there's the false light, there's trickster beings, there's all this stuff. And it's going to test the fuck out of you. And it preys upon people who are just brand new to this and wide open and letting everything in. Because like you were getting at, the dark ones, they want to harvest our genetics because we have the original genetics of the original ones.
Even though it's been fucked with, we still hold that within our codes. And that's what they don't want us to fucking remember.
Absolutely. So the more work that we do, this so-called junk DNA starts to turn on. And the more that it turns on, the more these abilities come online. And we have the ability to, something that's been activated in me is I can see through the dimensions, I can see spirits, I can see orbs, I can see all this stuff. Regenerative properties, levitation, like you can levitate, man, you can move stuff with your mind, like all this stuff is real and we have the ability to do it.
Right. That's a byproduct of activation of the templating. A lot of people think that they're going to be able to come into this sort of thing and get secret powers bestowed and all this different kind of stuff. It ain't going to fall on you in an organic, holistic way if that is the motivation. This is something that we are being entrusted with and have to wield correctly. Otherwise, go to the fucking dark side. And in terms of the actual fucking history, the real dichotomy as far as what's been revealed to what I've experienced, this all goes back to the war between the magicians and the fucking sorcerers. Straight the fuck up.
Yep. It's been going on a long time. Light and dark, different factions.
So in terms of all the different factions, there's so many that can be touched upon. I spoke at Free Your Mind 5. I gave my own dissertation in terms of disclosure. I only had about 5 minutes. They gave me like 30 minutes and then they chopped it down to 5 fucking minutes. So I wasn't even able to get into everything on the level. But let's talk about the different groups and the different agendas that are going on.
The group that is currently controlling the earth in a negative way would be the fallen Anunnaki. They've made factions with reptilian and tall grays and other really nasty factions for complete control. The original ones didn't fall. They left, and they left a group here to kind of oversee things. But some of the original ones are returned now. There is a war happening, and it's been going on for a long time, but we have a lot of help here. If we didn't have this help, humans would have been wiped out a long time ago. There is a line that's being held, but they can't do the work for us, man. We have to stand up. If we're taking our power back, that gives them the right to intervene more.
They want to get us to see ourselves as less being human and that they're more fucking advanced and they're the fucking creators of humans, all going back to that fucking narrative that straight up came out of the Sumerian Draconian Empire. Genetic modification of our ancestors, and they make a fucking slave race and all this fucking shit that we hear about. Humans existed not only here on Earth, but Maldak to Tara, going back at least 450 to 560 million years. You could take that back to Lyra, you could take it back to Sirius, and all of these codes that not only have activated within you, but activated within me as well in terms of our templating. And we're having this crazy experience in terms of actual interface, and we don't even know who to talk to or where to take these things. So it's been under wraps for a really long time, but there's way too many fucking agendas going on that I see that are pulling people into this false timeline agenda where it's no different than religion and everyone is worshiping these goddamn fucking aliens.
Yes, that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up because that's a good way to discern who's who and what's what. The benevolent ones, they don't want worship. They don't want the focus. They don't want people to be enchanted with them. Anytime that starts happening, they back off. They're not fucking gods. They have the ability to manifest stuff. Their DNA is activated, and most people in the past they saw it as gods, but they're not. They're us.
Right.
And so, if any being is out there,
law of correspondence, man.
Yes,
this is also how we are getting to know ourselves on a multidimensional level in terms of celestial genetics.
Absolutely. And so, if any being is out there that's trying to say worship me, tell it to fuck right off.
Yeah, we don't bow to fucking anything. And things in terms of the higher force and making connection to that central sun soul spark ignition of the gates of true intelligence. This is the main factor in terms of the difference with those that really know what the fuck is going on, like you and I, versus those that fucking don't.
Okay, so something I just remembered that I wanted to elaborate on. The Alliance, it's the Galactic Federation of Free Worlds. This is something that's real and it's benevolent. And in the past, you've heard of the Galactic Federation of Light. This is just made up bullshit from Greys. Okay, Greys are tricksters. They're motherfuckers, man. They put this information out a long time ago to try to, discredit the actual real one. Back in 2016, 2017, the skies were full of fucking gray ships and reptilian ships, and I fucking had a lot of nasty stuff go on. Since then, a lot of that has been removed. A lot of the grays have been kicked off the planet, but they still have some implants in people, and they can control them from a distance remotely, or project their consciousness out that way. Things are being cleaned up. The skies are a lot different than they used to be, and what's left here is some of the really nasty, dark shit, the ones that are fucking dug in.
What could you say is the worst thing you've ever had interface with, man?
The fallen Elohim, the fallen Anunnaki. This is Oof, man,
Fucking
just thinking
Watchers,
about
man.
it.
It's the fucking Watchers, dude. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. The original ones were benevolent, but the ones who fell, they are so fucking dark and powerful. Man, there's no heart energy, no consciousness except evil, wants to harvest and destroy, doesn't give a fuck about anything. I've never experienced anything like it. Like,
Yeah. Straight up, face the fucking Watchers in context like I've shared on Black Earth Productions. You're talking about how empty and void these specific beings fucking are, and they do come in parasitized. And that's another thing that I also recognize about what the fuck is really going on. These factions aren't really the ones that we're up against. It's something more prevalent and hidden and occult than what's on the fucking surface in terms of what is being unveiled at this fucking point, because of the procession of the grand cycle and where everything is culminating, bringing it back up onto the potential trajectory of the original timeline versus this AI parallel Earth timeline fucking trajectory, man. And all eyes are on the goddamn fucking planet. There's a lot of discrepancy in terms of factions because a lot of individuals that don't know the fucking difference assume that all of this goes back to the fallen Anu in context, and they're not the only motherfuckers that are on the goddamn fucking Earth, right?
let me back up to the initial story. The ship flies across the sky, does this huge sweeping turn, comes around, pops out, and then I realize, okay, that's intelligently controlled. This huge blue flash went off, and then this ship comes ripping in and stops, and I can see it with my eyes. It's there in the third dimension. I can see it with my eyes, and all of a sudden my mind's eye lights up, and I can see who's on it. And there's three people and they look like us. You couldn't tell the difference. There's this woman in front and she's gorgeous. And then behind her is a woman and a man. There's three of them. They looked Nordic. The feeling that was coming off of it, so much love. I was crying from joy. It just fucking lit me up. And it was the weirdest thing ever because, like, I remembered them. It's from before this life.
This is what I'm getting at in terms of what I'm bringing forward on Black Earth Productions, the difference between the malevolence, like you explained, versus the true benevolence. And I know that the true benevolence exists because I have also had interface with them. And I got the same thing, that they're not allowed to directly interfere. It is as if they are looking to us, even as Odin came to me in context to having an interface. And he said to tell the people the fucking truth, that we are waiting for humanity caught within this dark timeline cycle bullshit. And in terms of certain sagas that I've looked into, we have been through 3 major fucking Ragnaroks already. And in terms of the procession where we're at, everything's back up for review now. And we're either going to cross this fucking threshold into the new Aeon, knowing the difference, or get pulled into this parallel AI timeline bullshit that I know for a goddamn fact the dark factions are pushing the fuck forward. And there were trade deals that took place between the Omicron Draconian and the Odetacron Reptilian with the crystalline Syrian bees, who are traitors to the ancients, the Magog Rail Shaman. And this is who the fuck we are on ground level, going through this process of learning to remember who the fuck we are. It was a risk coming in here in terms of incarnation. Would you not agree with that?
Oh, absolutely, because you can get stuck in a karmic loop. You forget who you are. And when you come in with a mission, you're targeted. I have full memory of many past lives, many lives battling these motherfuckers. The things that I've experienced have been soul fragmenting. It's been a fucking mission to clean up the damage that has been done from this cosmic war that's been raging forever.
This is real shaman shit that we're talking about right here. We have actual fucking evidence. Not only that, but actual experience. Go ahead.
I went into the central sun, and when I crossed that threshold, leaving this 12-dimensional universe into the central sun, it's into the 13th dimension, then it goes 14, 15. As soon as you cross, it's like the main hub. There's other universes out there that have different mathematical constructs. It's a 12-dimensional overlapping construct. And I learned so much. As soon as you're there, you're in unity. Even in this universe, in the 12-dimensional scale, once you get into the 5th dimension, you have this overwhelming sense of unity. But duality is still present. It's overlapping. And that continues as you go up and up and up in dimensional layers. It just gets less and less and less. But once you cross that threshold into the central sun, the darkness doesn't exist and everything is just pure.
Would you say that that is the point where an individual could potentially experience that absolute powerful trajectory of being at a place of at one-ment with their core intelligence and the higher force?
That experience of going into the central sun 10 years ago, I'm still integrating it. It blows everything else out of the water. All this ET contact, all this stuff, it doesn't account to anything. That one experience, I remembered who I was. I was shown who I was. My cosmic intelligence was returned. My DNA was reviewed and assembled back together correctly. That's my true origin. It's the golden iridescent realm. And I remember you from that side too.
How do you mean, man?
It's just a remembering, things that other people don't know, and it's rang true over the years. You've proven yourself to me that you know this stuff that other people don't. You've been right about things many, many times.
I make sure that the things that I disclose, especially public on the platform here, I can back up 100%, and we can back all of this up. So again, if people want a true sense of disclosure, this is where the fuck you're going to get it today. You're not going to get it out there in the mainstream media. You're not going to get it in fucking academia, and you're definitely not going to get it from the goddamn fucking New Age movement.
Yeah, the New Age is infiltrated.
Yeah.
A lot of this New Age stuff was thought up in Stanford think tanks, and it's put together to try to get people to lower their guard, and so they can get tied into this stuff. It's got some truth in it, and it's sprinkled with a bunch of bullshit. They're master deceivers. They're master liars. One of the things that I've seen that's very common is they'll come and try to tell someone that they're the reincarnation of Jesus or Mary Magdalene to see where they'll go with it. There's this whole love bite thing. They'll set people up with the wrong person. And I've experienced
that too, man. Right.
Yep.
Let's talk about that for a minute.
They'll set someone up with the wrong person, and there'll be all these weird external influences and weird things that show up, and you'll take notice of them, but you'll be like, nah, it's cool or whatever. And then as time goes on, it all comes crashing down because they want to lower your frequency. They want to get at your heart. If they can get you in a vulnerable, low frequency, that gives them an in. It is all about frequency to a certain extent. It's intention, it's frequency, it's vibration. And if you're vibrating super high and you know who you are and you have solid boundaries and you're sovereign and you're in the heart space, this lower shit just misses you and it can't hook in. But if you have all this wounds and all this low vibration, that you're
fucking falling, dude.
Yeah, you're done.
For the whole fucking system on a multidimensional level, the Earth is a seed planet. It's a high commodity in our known universe in Midgard. And that's why it's all fucking happening here. Ascension happens here, but also the great war of fucking Aeons in terms of what we have been facing and also the ancestors in context to the most recent cataclysm.
Yeah, absolutely. What happens here affects everything else. And there's so many eyes on what's happening here. It's crazy. They're waiting to see what happens, waiting to see what we do. And this whole thing's a game. It's a game because there's rules to it.
What's the number one rule of this game?
The original goes with cosmic organic law. It doesn't break universal law. But the ones who fell sidestep that to dodge karma by getting people to agree through mind control and all the other stuff they're doing, giving their power away, being enslaved and being harvested.
You would agree that those that are in power, those that are in the positions of government, politics to fucking religion and all this different kind of fucking shit are a part of the Watcher's game in context.
That's who they worship. There's a whole path.
We were talking about the Eastern Orthodox fucking church, man, and their fucking robes the other day, man. Remember
that? Yeah.
They worship the fucking fallen on them.
Absolutely. And I've seen it. The Dark Ones tried to get me to side with them. They pulled me out of body and taken me on their ships and in their temples. And I saw how the dark path is extremely structured and has so many layers to it. It's very hierarchical. They are extremely structured.
They've had the last 13,000 fucking years at least to get things to this fucking point. And we're just dropping in 1970s, 1980s from the central sun. I remember visions being on the other side, looking at the gamut. This is fucking bullshit. I got to do something. I have to fucking go in. This is not going to fucking suffice.
If we could get organized and come together, it's game over.
Yeah. The very first memory that I had as a child, I opened my eyes as an infant and I literally said unto myself, I'm back. And this was before the upbringing and the overlays and distortions and the fucking indoctrination attempts and all this different kind of fucking shit. And I was just as aware of myself, self-aware as I am right fucking now. Explain that fucking shit to the average individual, and
right.
Potentially getting a goddamn fucking memory wipe. I opened my eyes and I said unto myself, I'm back. So there's something else going on besides what we're taught, especially in terms of indoctrination, especially on the level in terms of fucking religion. That's another fucking thing. And this false narrative, one God, fucking monotheistic fucking bullshit. That is all a part of the Watcher's game.
Oh, it is.
Worship them in
It
context.
is. Those most recent religions in history are all part of the fallen. You were saying when you came through the central sun in your memory, it brought me back to this memory of when I crossed that threshold out of the central sun back into this 12-dimensional construct. I specifically remember where it branches off the true cosmic father and the true cosmic mother energies in the 12th dimensional. Everything goes into two. And then as it came down, I saw the false ones right there below at the gateway playing God of all these inverted religions, which are really death cults. And
yeah, the first triangulation factor that most people experience on a multidimensional level is from the 6th dimension down. All this false timeline, ascension to 5D fucking bullshit, all of that's a counterfeit in terms of the false cold light, whereas what we're connected to breaches the 13th gate into 15D itself. This is getting into the primal light and sound fields and reside, man. They got their counterfeit gridworks laced the fuck out in terms of dimensional integration when someone experiences activation. And then you start to have interface, be aware of the draconian bliss playing on the individual's fucking codex in terms of their templating and their potential to actually ascend and integrate from higher consciousness awareness in terms of their connection to the higher force and the central sun. That's one of the main fucking factors that's missing. Slowly over time, they end up getting fucking hosted by these malevolents. Hardly anybody out there talks about the higher force. Fucking nobody, dude. I'm literally one of the only ones that has implemented the absolute goddamn fucking importance of being connected to that, because you're not going to be able to fucking discern otherwise. Break out to these fucking host fields, blissed out, and then you get hooked the fuck in on.
Right.
You traded the fuck out in terms of your genetics, man. That's the name of the game in terms of the cosmic market trade in terms of our genetics as human.
Absolutely.
On top of all of this other stuff happening with our celestial templating. They want to take the whole goddamn fucking gambit, man.
They see us as a threat because when we do all our work and we fully activate all our DNA, we have the ability to tap all the way in. And a lot of these other beings don't have that. And so they see us as a threat and they want to harvest these genetics. They want to keep using us as a power source and want to play the role of God at this lower density and keep everyone in a loop. And it's a false overlay mimicking a true system. You said they'll bliss you out. The dark ones will bliss you out, but it's in these lower chakra centers, 1, 2, 3. It's enchanting, but it feels off because they're trying to mask their frequency. When the true ones come by, when the real ones come by, man, they light your whole field up, the heart, the crown, everything, and boom.
And with that, we're going to go ahead and take a break into the mighty Room Song and the mortuary charm. I know a 12th one. If I see, up in a tree, a dangling corpse in a noose, I can so carve and color the rooms that the man walks and talks with me. Everyone pay attention to the footage you're about to see in terms of disclosure. And as unto the higher force, knowing the difference, we can navigate everything and pull the alignment and integration of our birthright here at the spear tip of evolution, knowing the difference. This is Seth Bausell, Black Earth Productions, Blue Flame Healing Arts, and Occult Science, Temple of the White Dragon, with Seth Lavine. We will be right back after the break. The shaman has guided more prosaic beings into reluctant encounters with the sacred, the ghoulish, the Dionysian, the prophetic, the priestly, the poetic, the unearthly. We are often regarded as the prototype of the modern, desacralized artist and magicians. And through our ancient and bloody dialogue, our kind are said to have fathered civilization. We imposed horrifying deprivations upon ourselves to achieve our ecstatic insight. Still, perform wonders. This is Seth the Black Earth Productions, Blue Flame, Healing Arts and Occult Science, Temple of the White Dragon. Here with my friend and ally, Seth Lavine. Make no mistake in terms of what you just viewed. It is 100% real, as with everything that we are getting into. Now to continue with this segment. Ecstasy. Beyond this fucking counterfeit fucking bliss bullshit, words and semantics in English, how do we actually describe ecstasy that can be tapped?
There's a feeling of authenticity that comes with it.
Yeah.
It lights your whole field up. It lights your heart up.
It's not confusion and being numb the fuck out in terms of your energy field. It's like a fucking aesthetic. It's like a fucking drug in terms of this bliss shit.
Right, because it only hits certain layers, but then there's other layers that don't give a read. They're neutral, so you're not picking up anything bad. It's just questionable. And if something's questionable, tell it to fuck off. That's how I operate. Like, if it doesn't have that true authenticity where there's that inner knowing, tell it to piss off. That's how I operate.
Yourself, motherfuckers.
Right.
And that's the attitude we have to have in terms of interface with these malevolent forces. You have to make them fucking respect you. There are no rules in war. There is no honor in fucking war. There's no trying to negotiate with a fucking psychopathic, parasitic fucking entity. Its only fucking agenda, because it's being ridden by the fucking old ones in context, is to harvest your fucking goddamn templating. And they'll get in any way that they fucking can.
Yep.
And these trickster spirits take it back to Loki and Gulveg in context to the fucking mythos. Dude, this fucking game is absolutely fucking ultra ancient. That's what people don't fucking realize, man. How ancient this actually is, man. It's nothing new.
Right.
Let's talk about the Lavine codes.
A lot of people associate Lyrians with just lion beings, but Lyra is actually the origin of human genetics, feline human genetics. And
right. It's mainly Lyra. Then there's also Sirius. I have ancient Syrian B codex in terms of my templating. This all goes back to Lyra in context to the origin of humans within Midgard. Our celestial origins, I should say.
Absolutely. So when it comes to the lion beings, I've met some who are from Lyra and I've met some who are from Sirius. They're all originally from Lyra. Mm-hmm. And so they have golden crafts, they have golden energy, they're super protective. They literally look like lions. Some of them look like humanoid lions. Some of them are gold and some of them are white. They've played a key role in my awakening. They've worked with me extremely close. There's been times where they literally stepped in for some dark shit that's tried attacking me. Same thing with the Arcturians. And the Arcturians are known for their weaponry because they hold things in balance to the universe. They have weapons that disintegrate planets.
Codes of the fucking magicians right there, man. Let me tell you.
They're extremely wise and ancient and benevolent. I'm out there and talking to these lion beings, and here comes this ship close, because most of it's at a distance, right? And it's like there's telepathic communication. That's another thing I wanted to get into. People are like, how do you have this contact? Is it all in your mind? Is it visual? I'll hear something telepathically. I'll ask them, you mean it's like this? And they'll flash or power up or visually give me a cue, yes or no, before I could hear clearly telepathically. So it's telepathic, it's visual, manifested into the third dimension, and they can also come in dream time. I had this dream. It's this long conversation, and it's generally about my personal evolution and trials and overcoming stuff. They're teachers, you know. We're having this conversation. I'm out there the next night, sky watching. Here comes that ship floating over. Conversation picks up where it left off in my dream. This communication is coming from all angles simultaneously. And the dream space is not just a dream. So we have to be aware of our dream space and responsible for ourselves in our dream space too.
The only thing that needs rest is our physical vessel. The mind never rests. our bodies on a multidimensional level. Even right now, as we're speaking, we're doing other shit, man.
Absolutely. We're multidimensional. A lot of people get harvested in dream time with their sexual energy. So people need to be responsible for.
I'll tell you what, man, I've been pulled into nightmare realms beyond fucking description. On top of my shamanic initiation, when these fuckers tried to take me the fuck up. It's like with any of us. If any of us actually wake the fuck up, it's game the fuck over for them. We are template holders in context. We're not just coming in first round of incarnation. This has been lifetime after fucking lifetime. We've already graduated this motherfucker. That's the other fucking factor. It was a risk coming in. And they didn't get all of us coming in. And they are not going to fucking win as far as I'm concerned, because as long as our kind are here anchoring the original codes within the realm, standing our ground and informing motherfuckers, what the fuck are they going to do? You reach a certain point where they can't even fuck with you.
Exactly, dude. And I'm glad you brought that up. For a while, I was scared for my life.
We got fucked with hard, didn't we, man?
Yeah, it's initiations is part of the process, and I learned a lot going through it. But now I know the protection I have. I have it all around me, and I know what my mission is. This is what we're here to do, to spread awareness, to get people to fucking anchor their own sovereign being. The light spreads to others. We ignite other people's soul spark. We're catalysts, and it just happens. It just fucking happens.
It's either that or you agitate a fucking cleansing, and then you get the weeping and the gnashing of the teeth and the fucking drama that happens because these motherfuckers are hooked the fuck in on, and whatever is hooked in on them doesn't fucking like us. In fact, it's fucking terrified. Would you not agree with that?
They want us to think that we're weak. Once we remember who we are, they're so scared of us. That's the thing. And the only reason that they're existing is because they're getting people to consent because they forgot who they are. When we're in our true power, it's literally game over. Fear is an illusion. Danger is real, but fear is bullshit. Drop the fear, manifesting their reality. And this is something that I've been taught over a long fucking time. It's all about frequency, literally manifesting our reality because we're creator beings. And there's a whole process to this and many different aspects to it that a lot of people are missing. We have this ability.
Everything we do in terms of the mystery school is the path to self-mastery. That's the fucking point. That was the point of incarnation. This was the original fucking purpose. Before all this fucking shit went the fuck down, betrayals that took place in context to the fall. A lot of the fucking things that did unfold in terms of this reality field being taken the fuck over, the fallen Omicron draconian factions actually used to use cats as fucking scouts, dude.
So I'm outside and this disc comes by. It's probably like 60 feet, 50, 60 feet wide, and it's golden, and it comes right above me, maybe 50 feet above me, and it's translucent. I can see the stars behind it, but it's a luminous gold. The stars were bent like a lens. It was profound. Anyway, the next day I'm driving to my friend's house. All of a sudden I see 3 cats jump over a fence. They walk up to the sidewalk and stand in a row. 3 more cats come from the other side of the road. All these cats start coming, and more and more and more. What the fuck is going on? And they line up on each side of the sidewalk, all in a row, perfectly symmetrical, all looking directly at me as I drive by. I realized that these beings were working through the animals, avataring through the animals. And that's when I realized.
There's a lot that I could say about cats. It's interesting how even in ancient Kemet, that the cat was revered as a god. In context to the Sphinx, and there wasn't just one Sphinx, there were 2 Sphinxes. To the Lavine code, a lot of the fucking things that did unfold in terms of this reality field being taken the fuck over, the fallen Omicron draconian factions use cats as fucking scouts. That's just a side note, but right. The cat codes, man. So they're all standing there and they're looking at you, and then what happens?
That was it. I just drove by, but I've never experienced anything like that, they're actually avataring through animals. That doesn't happen. That's right. That's not.
Well, what I just mentioned, it actually fucking does, because as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to totem mystic consciousness, animals are extensions of human consciousness. So I have the wolf, so I have the goat, the raven, the dragon. And the lion in context is also one of my totems. It's right on Black Earth Productions. That's what that represents. Lyra, motherfuckers. You think you know, you still don't fucking get it. Who's on the fucking planet and why we are doing this. It ultimately leads an individual down the path to self-mastery, to sovereignty, knowing the fucking difference. Because when you operate with the template, when you actually get a hold of the maps and compasses and all of this different stuff that you need, This is all the wisdom that they don't want us to fucking know, demonized by religion and all this different kind of fucking shit. So it's not just the experiences that we're having, it's the actual proper knowledge and wisdom in terms of arts and sciences that lead us down a path of discovering who the fuck we are. And if you do the circle of the magician and all these things that I've shared, you will inevitably have interface. It's inevitable. You will inevitably fucking experience it.
Yep. This construct. If people are out of alignment, making bad choices, it could go wrong really quick. Lower stuff can hook in. And the mind controls, this is how these beings work. They work from the unseen. They'll put thoughts in people's heads. In my opinion, everyone on this earth has had contact with these beings, whether they know it or not.
Especially since fucking 2020. You got to be kidding.
Yep. They work from the unseen, slowly injecting thoughts in people's heads, and the people think it's their own brain, and they can read people like a book. They look for weaknesses, traumatic experience, spiral that out. They keep people in these loops. Once they appear to telepathically see what they're doing, and I'm like, game over, motherfucker. I'm taking my power back. Once it reveals itself, it's no longer as dangerous.
I have actual recording. There's technology. They're able to record from the other fucking side. I have this as evidence with this guy that does psychic surgery, and they have this fucking technology. They were able to record from the other fucking side. It literally came through this fucking watcher. It screams on the other fucking side. What is their fear?
We've captured the voices on recording, validating that what they're hearing is actually occurring. And using various technology, and here we are recording that voice. And if people understand QEEG, everybody's brain has a different frequency. There's over 1,000 different brain frequencies, combination brain frequencies, and they narrowed it down to, used to be 100, now it's 30, and everybody's hearing a different frequency. But if we broadcast just that frequency, only one person in that room is going to hear it. Does that make the person crazy? No, because we're broadcasting that frequency. These entities, what we're finding out, they are broadcasting to the specific frequency of that person. Now, there could be another person in the room that has the same frequency, and then they're both hearing it. We've had that happen where two people hear something, but the rest of the people don't hear it. And that can easily be explained with broadcast and reception of the brain. And QEEG's patterns and other types of technologies can brain map. And then if you focus on that frequency, you'll see those people hear the frequencies, but the other people in other categories don't. So when people say, oh, that the voices are just an imagination or a disorder, then how do you explain that we're recording the voices that they're hearing, and I can play it back for you and then you hear it? It's a thing that fascinates me that I think psychology needs to start looking into. There are scientific ways to record this, document, and validate it. And when you talk about the attachment, change your perception, that these voices in your head are not you telling you to do that you have to listen to. This is the enemy. These are these entities doing this because they're picking on this emotion, this memory. You have to realize that any of these voices coming back, you said you don't have permission to enter into me or to tell me to do this. I'm not going to hurt myself for your pleasure. They're making you do that to maintain the terror and keep it going. Keep those memories going. These parasitic, vampiric entities are in between our dimension and other dimensions. I've got a clear recording audio of them saying, what is their fear? Because they're trying to find our fear.
This is literally what they're fucking targeting on an unconscious level. And a lot of people aren't even conscious of the fact they've been programmed, mind controlled to the indoctrination and academia and the fucking media and the press on and the influence with fucking Hollywood and all this fucking shit. It's layer upon layer upon layer. It's nets, traps, and snares. It's hooks. It's ropes. Take it back to the house of the fucking net. This all goes back to the fucking betrayal, man.
Yes. Yeah.
Times. And I know that you were fucking there, just like I was, dude. Let's get into that now.
Okay, so I met Shiva 10 years ago, and I've had interface many different times. One of these times, he showed me the fall, and man, I've seen it from so many different angles. This is just one of them. Osiris was the blueprint of the divine masculine, and when they killed him, the temple of Set, when they killed Osiris, I was shown that Thoth betrayed everyone, went to the dark side and rewrit history. A portal was ripped open, and there was contracts made with these lower forces, a draconian, reptilian. It has to do with Marduk and the pacts that he made with this for complete supremacy, selling everyone out. This dude's a psychopath. And that's when the infection came to this planet on a much higher level. I was shown that from many different angles.
It fucking happened. And this is the crux in terms of the procession of the grand cycle, when magic became corrupt in Kemet, in terms of the Sumerian invasion that took place. And I have memory of this in terms of my templating, in terms of my fucking lineage. And not only have I called it the fuck out, but I have archaeological fucking evidence of my actual lineage, and also the manifestation of the nectar of Athanasia. That is a mark of the trajectory of everything that is unfolded and what was present here before what the fuck happened did. The Polarian, Hyperborean times, you could take it back 560 fucking million years. It's all of these fucking timelines going back even pre-Atlantis and Lemuria, leading all the way up to that crux point where this wormhole did get ripped the fuck open. What you're sharing with me came to you on your own, right? These things revealed to you.
This came to me before knowing anything about it, and then I started verifying things through research, and then I heard you say the same things independently, and I was, no fucking way, dude, this is verifying my experiences, shown by multiple beings that I've interfaced with. Like I was saying, we have to test and approve every being, okay? And when I met Shiva, there's been multiple experiences, but one of them, it was in sacred ceremony. I was like, whoa, stop. And then I heard this voice said, I thought your intention in this ceremony was for healing and wisdom. And I was like, yeah. And as soon as I said, yeah, it blasted open, and so much light and information, one-on-one conversation with Shiva. This happened. Okay. Every aspect that I could even fathom, he was showing me layers upon layers upon layers. He showed me the fall. He showed me how it all works together synchronistically. He showed me the true organic system and the school here. Light and dark is part of our reality when it's in balance. The dark will reflect lessons from the light from a mirror perspective, and it helps you pass this remembering who you are and that you exist beyond it. And this is just a threshold, and it's a school. After the fall, this school became corrupted, and these lower beings are mimicking the real system.
Right, but it's all twisted and inverted. In terms of the left wing and the right wing brotherhoods, when magic became corrupt and mathematical reversal technologies, when it comes to the real fucking game that's happening on ground level, they play both sides of the goddamn fucking triangulation. And also other flank factors that could come in once you start to transcend and unlock the fucking Tesseract. This trapezoid consciousness, it's the cube within the cube. It's the Ouroboros, it's Jormungandr. You're talking about Shiva. What people need to realize is that the god realms, in terms of ancestors, are absolutely 100% real. There is a correlation in terms of Odin and Shiva, and it's to note here that my ancestors brought Sanskrit to the East. People want to argue where the true origins of who we are come from, out of Africa theory or whatever the fuck. We all hail the Great North in terms of Udama. This is every race, tribe, and culture. The correlations and what's been revealed to you, it's the same proper knowledge and wisdom, man. You can't make this shit the fuck up. You can't make this up. No goddamn fucking way. So what does that mean for us? What does that mean for those that are listening? All I know is that a lot more is going to be revealed in the coming years when all of this really starts to come together. Finally getting to this point where we are speaking face to face. You and I have had warfare between us. These motherfuckers have tried to come and prevent us from even corresponding.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's been attacks over time. I've seen on your end. I've seen on my end. Now I've got so much protection. One of my main protections is alignment, because if I'm in alignment with the higher force, then the true higher ones have my back. But if I start fucking up, it's not going to be good. You know?
People run out and they think that that's not an important thing. It's the most important factor in terms of initiation into the actual mysteries and the way that we approach these things. Without that guiding light of the central sun, you're not going to be able to fucking see shit for what the fuck it is. You're not going to be able to discern it, man.
Absolutely. The sun is sending out all these light codes. It comes from the central sun through all these different stars in our solar system, through Lyra, through the Pleiades, through Orion, through Aldebaran, through Sirius, through Arcturus, and then it comes into our star, and then it comes to us.
Not only through our star that we see in the sky, but the star core, central sun of the Earth itself, the actual alignments in terms of Udman, all this other stuff that is coming that cannot be fucking stopped. I swear to the fucking gods.
I've been on craft. I've seen the earth. It's round.
Right. I've seen the curvature of the earth myself as well, man. Well over 60,000 feet. Come on, people. But it's a part of PSYOPs that are playing on old codes to pull people back onto timeline trajectories, cause point of the divide and conquer, because the IQ distinction timeline that these fuckers are operating from in terms of their perception of process, they're being manipulated. They can't even fucking see it.
Right. That's the crazy part, man. It's got so out of control. How are people falling for this shit? What the fuck is going on?
Who do you think fucking rules this? Fucking Joker, man.
Right.
Fucking Joker. You want to talk about an archetype for the ultimate fucking evil? There you go. The goddamn fucking clown world, man.
This world is a clown world. So discernment with beings and differentiating the true original ones from the most recent fallen ones. So I'm interfacing with Shiva. I mean, it's so intricate, but I'm just encompassing the whole picture. So when it comes to discernment, what do I do? Do I become a Shiva devotee now? And he laughed and he's just like, no, you passed your tests and you see yourself.
Here's the factor, man, in terms of what you're getting at. The true gatekeepers reside within the God realms. It's not all of these other fucking factions that want to be the fucking gods. And where do we hear that? We hear that in the Bible and all this other fucking bullshit. Appropriated from way more ancient relics and texts just to play on the fucking codes otherwise, man. So again, in terms of that triangulation factor, everything else is the devil except this right here. So when we have these experiences to the fucking programming, I remember when Odin came to me, I sat with him and we sat for what seemed like thousands upon thousands of years just getting fucking uploads, man. So that was my experience in a nutshell. And there's correlations again between Odin and Shiva in terms.
Same thing with Thor and Indra.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that's the same being, just with a different name for a different culture. The original ones came here, the Great North. They went east to India. They made their landing in Mount Kailash, which is the mountain of Shiva, and it's a giant pyramid. They went south to Egypt, and then they came over to Central and South America with the Olmec.
This, in terms of what you're sharing, is when the ancient wisdom councils actually landed here after the destruction of Maldek.
And then the most recent ones with Nibiru and all the Sumerian stuff, that's the fallen shit.
The whole orbit axis factor in context to Nibiru and Wormwood to speed up the fucking timeline to the most recent, I would say, incarnation. Because of what happened, take it back to the fucking fall. Before that, this worked for a very long time. And what was been revealed to me is that the ancient wisdom councils were present. Kemet was the seat of the great wisdom councils in terms of every race, tribe, and culture. The original dragon lineages that all used to sit at table. And depending on your race, depending on your templating and your codes, we were the ones that oversaw the whole process of individuals coming in to be partakers of the biospiritual regenesis, to pull back the alignments, not only in terms of what happened with Maldek, but take it back to fucking Torah, man. 2 major timeline events that have happened, and then the third one happened here on Earth. Those are the 3 Ragnaroks that are spoken about in terms of the sagas when it comes to the mythos. You can't make it up. Anybody listening, we're not making this shit the fuck up. This is the actual truth of our occult history.
I'm having interface with all these beings. Everything was all good for the first couple years. And then at a certain point, okay, you need to stop relying upon us so much and you need to learn about what else is out there. They backed off and I'm like, what? I slowly started to realize that some of the information wasn't lining up, getting conflicting information. And I ended up realizing that there's 2 different groups in the sky. There's one that's spot on and always told the truth and has that authentic feeling about it. And then there's this other one that is imposturing, but they can light up and appear luminous, and they're very, very intelligent and know how to play people, but they're imposters, they're tricksters. Then that threw a wrench in everything because I was like, this is getting fucking crazy.
Interestingly enough, things in terms of the fallen Anu factions specifically with the mythos all go back to the Svartalfar in context, the Dark Alfar, whereas the original codes in terms of templating before shit became parasitized in context, this all goes back to the Alfar. They had wings. There's Sumerian tablets that depict the slaughter of the Alfar, man. This is within cuneiform. It's also in the Kemetan hieroglyphs carved into the fucking wall. And this is shit that people don't even fucking know about, man. So in terms of actual disclosure, man, you can't make this shit the fuck up.
Right. This was an ancient school in the past. And
right.
You know, some of the untampered with teachings of the past, some of the least tampered with ancient teachings would be the Norse, you know, the Vedic, all the most recent Abrahamic stuff. That's all the falling part, you know.
In the mythos, it reveals that the one that wants to be the one god is Loki. Now, where the fuck did we hear that shit? See, what people don't realize is that trade deals took place between Loki and Gulvag. I'm getting into the mythos here. Trade deals with the Thursday consciousness that had become parasitized. These are black hole entities, right? There's no negotiating with it. It's a devouring force, and when you touch it, you will literally go fucking insane. In a fucking instant, immediately take the individual over. So that being what was pulled through in ancient times to the resurgence of the old ones into the nine worlds, this is exactly the same goddamn fucking thing that happened in 2020 in terms of the needlecraft when they put this shit into the fucking serum to prime the materia of individuals' physical fucking bodies for invasion. And the ones that didn't fucking make it through the first setting of the upload of that fucking AI technology, you got this squid shit coming out of their fucking hearts, man. Millions of people that fucking died. And people want to act like everything's fucking fine. And this isn't goddamn fucking reality. And you're just back to your fucking bullshit. You know that there's something more going the fuck on. And you maybe even have had these fucking experiences and you don't know who to fucking talk to. That's why we're on to bring this so that people can know the fucking difference. Because we are one with the ancestors in terms of the god realms. They have come to us. Shiva came to you. Odin came to me. What the fuck is going on?
It goes to show how naive people are. Like, we didn't just live through some crazy fucking psyop they tried to pull on the world. Those squid tentacle things, that's connected to gray technology.
You know what's crazy now? Children that are being born from those that took the fucking needlecraft, they're the black-eyed fucking children, man. What does that go back to? It's the fucking grays.
Yeah. I realized that there's the light, there's the dark, and then there's this in the middle, like trickster luminous group. Who's who, what's what. I started going to events like East Eddy Ranch, speaking publicly, and really put myself out there. And when I came back from one of those events, something followed me back. They didn't want me putting this information out.
I remember. Yeah.
I started having sleep paralysis, and in my vision, there'd be these fallen Elo. And they were wearing robes with hoods, just shadow floating around, placing little baggies was like a bunch of pulled out teeth, body parts, black magic shit. I would wake up in sleep paralysis. I had a few really, really traumatic experiences where they fucking full on attacked me. And this is 3D shit where they're fucking showing up. It was a battle. I was at the store buying some paint. And all of a sudden, this dark presence came, and I'm driving home and I can't shake it. I get home 20 minutes later, doing all my clearing practices, everything in the book that I knew how to do, and I couldn't shake it. And then I get pulled out of body, and there's two of these faceless beings putting their bullshit energy on me. The frequency that they were coming with was thousands and thousands of years of torture and suffering. It was the infection, the most evil thing I've ever experienced in my life. My vision opened up and this golden light energy opened up, and I saw all life, plants, animals, people. The contrast between life and life is so sacred. That energy just burst from my heart, fucking sent these things flying. And then all of a sudden, all these beings came in, and they came in orb form and then materialized. The Arcturians were there, the actual council. They're very similar genetically. They're our ancestors, because it all stems from Lyra. And these are the ones that left a long time ago and never fell, and now they're returning.
The ones that know the fucking difference, check this out. They're listening right now to us. They're learning from us.
Absolutely.
That's our position here. And we have been tested. But in terms of what is coming, the alliances that need to manifest and what needs to unfold from here on out, we're all going to come together. And we're going to be fucking implementing this back into the fucking world with the mystery school. I've been told that it has to be very, very specific individuals that know the fucking difference, and they caught the same fucking vision, and then we come together. Since what happened the original schools were completely fucking wiped off the face of the goddamn fucking earth. This is something that I've been working to recreate with Black Earth Productions. I got the vision well over 20 years ago now, after my shamanic initiation took place. And that experience that you're sharing with me, I could definitely fucking relate to what you're saying. That's what the fuck I was facing that was trying to take me the fuck out. This force that was beyond fucking description. It was beyond fucking goddamn nightmare. And after actually experiencing that, and you come the fuck out of it and you see the gift of life that you actually fucking have versus what is actually on the other side. People have no fucking goddamn clue what the fuck is actually taking place and how much fucking worse it actually fucking is. Those realms caught the fucking underworld cycles beyond what you can even fucking navigate. I'm lucky to be alive. You're lucky to be alive as well. But this goes back to actual shamanic initiation. You have shamanic codes. You're a master number 33. I'm a master number 11. We are masters here on ground fucking level. So that when people start having these experiences, which they are going to continue to, we are here ready to teach fuckers that are ready to graduate. Would you not agree?
Absolutely, because when I went through this, it was just me.
Right. And I've seen people fucking get killed, dude.
Yeah, me too. I've seen it over the years too. People we both know, people I've met.
This war is fucking real, everybody.
It's cost me friends, relationships. People think I'm fucking nuts. You know what? I don't care because I can show them in person. I've shown literally thousands of people the ships in person. Everyone I start talking to eventually sees them and they come back and they say, I thought you were crazy. I'm like, I know. I don't fucking care. I'm just telling you because I can show you. I'm not here to give a fuck what you think about me. I'm here for a mission. So I'm having interface with all these different beings and it's just getting really confusing. I remember I walked out on this trail that I go hike to in the middle of the night and there's all these ships flying around. You know, I've put myself out on a limb publicly speaking about this shit, the consequences of that. I started being attacked by black orbs. My vision got activated and I could see orbs. They'd be flying around and they'd go inside a person's head and then the person would start acting all crazy.
Immediately, they would start acting like that.
Literally fly into their head and then all the chaos starts every time. They're controlling people and these people have no fucking idea that this is happening and I'm watching it happen. I've had them shoot at me and fucking knock shit over and all of a sudden this thought would come in my head that's completely foreign and I feel my energy drain. It's mind control, but I can see it happening. And this is every day for 18 months before I finally came out of this and battled this shit and fucking won. Like I was saying earlier, when I got attacked, my heart opened at the end and blasted these fuckers back and all the good beings came. Where were you? You just let me go through that? And they're like, you had to see what's out there. It was your initiation. You had to face it. Right. And so some of this stuff we have to face. It helps to have guidance. Back then, I had no one to talk to. The people that I looked up to in this community, they didn't help me. Talk all this love and light shit. No. Fucking sink or swim, motherfucker. You know?
And that really is the difference here in terms of my platform. This is authentic shaman shit, everybody. This is what the shamans know. I hail shamanic lineage in terms of the White Dragon Codex. Getting into the blood type and the RH negative factor, one of the things that I do know is that they do not want the blood codes to activate in context to ancestors so that we can build these fucking bridges again and pull back the original timeline trajectory. This is why they fuck with the genome like they did in 2020. It's why they did in ancient times to cut us the fuck off from our actual fucking roots in terms of who the fuck we are. And then we just get layered the fuck up, man. So go into the RH negative factor. In terms of that, I'm O negative.
RH negative people tend to be prone to being psychic. I'm RH negative. I'm B negative. There is a higher percentage of RH negative people that have all this multidimensional shit happening. Fucking masters. So what it is it's more star genetics than the RH positive blood. Whatever your blood type is, if you do the work, you unlock your DNA and we can transcend all this. Right, so leading into this experience, I was having all these different things happen, black orbs, light orbs. I woke up one night at like 3 a.m. and I saw this giant black thing shoot across my ceiling. Oh, my hair stood up. Oh, fuck no, I'm not fucking dealing with this. I called on protection and these 2 luminous light orbs, big fucking grapefruit size, come through my wall. One of them shoots the black one away and one of them stays above me and starts going in circles, patrolling my bed. And this is constant warfare around me every day, 24/7 for 18 months. Me to wake up and go to work in a couple hours and be around 3D people where I can't talk about any of this shit. This is the type of stuff leading up to this experience. But I put myself out there. I'm still dealing with all this bullshit and I don't have answers. I'm starting to question who's who and what's what. And how about everything fuck off until I get a fucking face-to-face? You either come down here and land and talk to me face-to-face or pick me up on your fucking ship and we get a face-to-face in physicality, not some fucking out-of-body bullshit. Until then, I'm done. 3 days go by, nothing happens, and I get home from work. I see this 3-foot shadow run across into my room. It was like... This thing that was in my room was dark. It was a gray, and it was phased into physicality halfway. It was there. It was fucking
I've seen
solid.
plenty of fucking grays, dude, to know that they are fucking real. Insectoids, reptilians, draconians, shit that even nobody's fucking talking about. I have no reference for it. There's other shit going the fuck on besides what is even disclosed.
Even my dog saw it. It was there. All the hair stood up on my body, and I was just like, oh, fuck no, I am not dealing with this. And I was like, I call upon the highest octave of creation. I call upon my true ancestors. And I could tell it was the same group that I had been interacting with for years and years and years and years. There was this other group that's the same genetics, but they don't like me.
One thing I remember about the guides that came to me, guides are guides for a reason. They're there for a season and then they're gone once you're ready, knowing the fucking difference. And that's definitely what I experienced in terms of interface with quote unquote guides. Blood codes is very, very fucking important. I don't think people understand the importance of actually knowing your blood codes, your blood type, your actual fucking lineage, because that is where the true history in terms of who we are actually resides. I went into ritual, went right into the fucking blood itself. And then that's when I really started to have interface and context to true guides showing up. And then, of course, getting into the arts and sciences of the occult in terms of initiation, these also predicate true guides versus the beings that come in and play on all the fucking codes in terms of what I'm getting at when it comes to our actual templating. There's the true guides versus those that are not the true guides. I've been pulled out into a lot of crazy scenarios where the script is fucking flipped on your fucking ass and you're like, wait a second, I thought you were this and now you're that. You're dealing with these shape-shifting motherfuckers. And it's even happened with people, with motherfuckers that you are seeing flesh to flesh in the third dimension, which, as far as I'm concerned, is the highest realm we could possibly be in. It's all converging here. And these fuckers on the other side, what I notice, especially with the New Age movement and all of these different groups, it's like this with religion as well. They get all these to do all of the hard work for them, and then they just come in and rake that fucking energy the fuck out into their grid works, man. It's like any magician worth his fucking salt that knows the fucking difference. Why are you going to be consulting lesser fucking entities when you have your own eternal spirits in connection to the primal light and sound fields dealing with the dark one, right? Pull everyone into this left-wing, right-wing brotherhood fucking bullshit in order to offset the trajectory of the activation, and then they end up riding you using your gifts, using your skills, telepathic abilities. And there's a lot of fucking readers out there that are being fucking ridden by these fucking forces, man. CERN, in terms of the blood, what do you say? To that, I'm going to pull this segment into another break. I'm here with Seth Lavine as we continue to take things deeper in terms of answers to all of the questions that have been alluded to, the rhetorical rapport we are sharing with you. And as Loki begot Fenrir with Angarboda, Loki ate a heart and burnt it upon the embers as he found the half-singed heart of a woman. Loktir was expectant with the child of that wicked woman, and from this all monsters were derived. Take heed to the things that we are sharing with you in this segment. This is Seth Bausell, Black Earth Productions, Blue Flame, Healing Arts and Occult Science, Temple of the White Dragon. We'll be right back after the break. I know where Odin's eye is hidden. Deep in the wide-framed well of Mimir. Mead from the pledge of Odin each mother. Does Mimir drink? Would you know yet more? I know the horn of Heimdall, hidden under the high-reaching tree of wisdom. On it there pours, from All-Father's pledge, a mighty stream. Would you know yet more? This is Seth Bausell, Black Earth Productions, Blue Flame, Healing Arts and Occult Science, Temple of the White Dragon, here with Seth Lavine. Take heed with everything in terms of this segment. Do now continue.
So how to discern? At the time, I hadn't developed, but now looking back in hindsight, I can see the differences and I can feel it now. Over time, you look back at the fruits of the interactions and you see who's been true the whole time and who has been full of games and bullshit. It's sensing that inner authenticity, and you can feel it in your high heart when it's real. It's a resounding authenticity of truth.
Recording last night, my fucking thymus gland started going the fuck off. And see, that part of the high heart chakra, this is where all the T cells of our immune system come from. So in context to healing and making connection, making that bridge to the actual Bifrost frequency, it's fucking Haru. The rainbow bridge manifests and your third eye cracks open. There's so much fucking more beyond the fucking game that's being played on our minds. And I swear to the gods, dude, if people actually got a taste of some of the things that I've experienced, they'd come running to the Temple of Initiation. A lot of people are caught up with this dark shit, codes being played, the actual fucking diabolics.
People are riddled with parasites and implants and all this shit. It's a process to clean them out. If you clean it all out and they continue living the same way they're living, it's all going to come right back. Healing work is dangerous. The stuff that's attached to it.
Right.
What's that?
In terms of initiation into the mystery school, when I get into the healing arts specifically, it always comes with a fucking warning. People got to know what they're getting into, because this isn't going to some Western doctor. You know?
No, there's consequences. The stuff that you're trying to clear off, people is going to come directly at you. And if you're not solid and if you're not working really up high, there's fucking consequences to this shit.
Yeah. During the first phases of the alchemical rites of initiation that take an individual, the blackening phase specifically is when these are going to have interface with malevolent forces. Guaranteed. There's no bypassing it. People got to know what they're getting into, because if we really want to heal and transcend and come onto the path of self-mastery, they're going to go through this process as well, whether in this life or the fucking next.
Absolutely. It's not love and light bliss bunnies. That's the new age lie.
They just want to bypass the actual shit that we're fucking dealing with and then bliss you the fuck out. You think you're fucking ascending, but you're actually getting fucking harvested.
Because you're ignoring the whole other side. You got to look at both sides of the coin. You got to be aware of the full picture and not let any of that shit affect you from yourself, from your own connection.
It's not something else.
There's no bypassing. Bypassing is a huge thing that happens again and again and again. I got this fucking demon in my house. Get the fuck out of here. I call upon my ancestors. Giant column of light shoots down. 7-foot tall beings appear. They look like human shapes, but they're just light. Before I had been attacked by these dark ones, I was fucked up, man. I was seriously hurt.
Were the headaches that you experienced on the back right part of your head back here?
Yeah, back on the side.
Before we got started today, I started getting this sense right here. This is an area where you've been hit multiple fucking times, not just one time. So that's interesting.
So all the pain leaves and my vision lights up. They literally fucking healed me, dude. And they stayed for 2 hours. They would phase in and phase out. I was laying on my bed just processing everything that just happened. The original ones, they're very Vedic-ish type of look to them.
Again, it goes back to the 4 original dragon lineages. You could have different portions of genetics in terms of blood codes. When it comes to my blood codes, it's mainly Danish and Irish, Swedish, Nordic. All of fucking Northern Europe in terms of the Bausell and Misser bloodlines in context. And Misser goes all the way back to Kemet, all of this stuff too. Other things have been revealed to me with my codes. When it comes to my father's lineage, what does Lavine mean?
Lavine is my stepdad's last name, so it's not my blood name. But my mom's maiden name would be Bausell, which goes back to Welsh and Norse. So they're talking to me and they're showing me about Rh negative blood. They were like, these are our genetics and you have our genetics. And I was just like, wow, these are actually my ancestors. They also showed me that it works both ways. Even the dark side has this Rh negative blood. It's the same genetic species. I felt like I wanted to throw up after hearing that. I'm connected to all of it, both light and dark. This is getting fucking heavy, man.
Yeah. Ironically, Merlin, when it comes to the mythos of Arthurus Artorias, he had both light and dark within his code. So he was very aware of the actual fucking war that was taking place all around him that other people couldn't fucking see. He was the wizard because he could fucking see. He was a seer. So different portions of genetics and codes, if you don't work with what you got, it's all lying dormant. And they don't want that shit to activate in certain levels. Individuals like myself and you, we are a goddamn fucking threat.
Oh, yeah. To the fallen ones, because what they want to present things like they have the genetics of the gods and they're not even using them.
Genetics of the fucking gods, my ass.
That's why they don't like us, because we have the ability to reach dimensions higher than they can.
But the way that they fucking operate, they have their bloodlines as they have. That's who the fuck they work through here. And if people can't see that, well, you're just a fucking retard. They will have to face what their fucking ancestors did. You're talking about passing off karma. They have to let you know what the fuck they're doing. And they let you know through the media. They let you know through the fucking movies. They let you know through the fucking games. They let you know through the fucking music. In terms of the cosmic court, there is no fucking jurisdiction overriding what they're implementing because everyone doesn't know the fucking game. If we don't gain leverage and know the fucking difference, there's still too many people that don't know what the fuck is really going on. Consent to these fucking agendas, and that's why they get away with what the fuck they do. Whereas other people, yeah, they are waking up a little bit more, I think, since what hit the world in 2020. But you and I have been on this not just the last, 20 to 30 fucking years, but lifetimes, dude. Lifetime.
Absolutely.
We didn't just drop the fuck in, and oh, we don't know what the fuck is going on here.
It's a lot to process. Ultimately, it's not about what anyone else thinks or if they acknowledge anything that I've said. This is a reality that's happening regardless. I'm in this motherfucker. So are you. This might be right over someone's head if they're not on the path. The people who are supposed to hear this will hear this. It'll activate them. And like you were saying earlier, if someone's going through it and they need to reach out for guidance, that's what we're here to do, to help our brothers and sisters, because we all need to unite.
Unity consciousness at this point is very fucking important. People just need to get the fuck over themselves. It's not to compare or contrast. We're all on ground level, and there's things that you've experienced and that that I might not, in terms of my experience and what's been revealed to me. So it is to cross-pollinate, and it is to bring the puzzle pieces together in order to get those confirmations, because once you see it, now you have a solid fucking foundation to springboard from. Who's going to fucking stop this, man? They cannot stop what is coming, brother. I don't care how big or small it is. It's what I've dedicated my fucking life to. I'm recognizing a lot in terms of what you're sharing. The war on the masculine force in this world is off the charts, but why is it off the charts? What have you experienced in terms of things that have happened recently and what you recognize in context?
As you know, this dark force that's working here, they want to invert everything that's sacred. That's how they work. Osiris, the original divine masculine blueprint, it was this golden frequency in harmony with creation. And I saw his death, and I saw Thoth trying to cover it up. A lot of people haven't acknowledged this. A lot of people think Thoth is benevolent and all this stuff, but he fell. He changed sides. Marduk came in and made pacts with all this shit.
Look, man, they did not complete their initiations. I speak about the ancient wisdom councils, and people want to hail Thoth. He was being observed at that point from who? By who? The ancient wisdom councils. See what happened? The fucking takeover and the fucking betrayal, and then positioning themselves as the gods took the place of Shiva, took the place of Odin, took the place of Osiris, dude. These were the wisdom keepers.
I knew nothing about Osiris when I was shown this.
Yeah.
And then if you look at all the symbology of the one eye thing, they want to rub it in everyone's face. Oh, we got Horus's eye.
All of that goes back to when Odin sacrificed his eye in the well of Mimir for wisdom.
Right.
They mock
But
that shit when they do this, or they
that's
go
it.
like this. That's a mockery.
It's their
It's a
mocking of it.
mockery.
That's exactly it. The only piece they couldn't collect of Osiris was the phallus. So they make these obelisks everywhere.
Right.
It's more mockery. They're scared of the divine masculine rising. That's why they're trying to feminize dudes. This is clown world.
No,
There's an agenda behind it, and it's demonic.
absolutely. It's to castrate. It's to cut the fuck off.
Yep.
Not only in terms of your ability to procreate and all of the symbolism, these weird correlations and synchronicities. Think about the agenda and in terms of how the divine masculine templating, in terms of anchoring the divine blueprint back into the fucking earth again, and the cry of the fucking ancestors within us. And this is why we have had interface, you with Shiva, I with Odin. I've had interface with all of the fucking gods of Kemet because of my fucking templating and what it means and the remembering and the activations, man. They're literally on the edge of their seats. Go on. Here we go. We're at that point for real, man. Whether people are catching what we're saying or not, there is a force that is going to come through that cannot be stopped. This is the sword of the North. And when I did my Magog Grail Shaman segment, The Betrayal of Thoth and Rise of Asar is Osiris in context to that blueprint. And like I said in my most recent segment, this is not the time of the rise of this malignant feminine force in the fucking world. It's the rise of the divine masculine into alignment so we can course correct this fucker. Look at the state of, and the condition of the world. Both you and I have been in toxic fucking relationships with the feminine, working to course correct and lead as men, and you cunts aren't fucking listening to men that know the difference, and you think you got a chance on the other side? It's bullshit. No, I'm fucking pissed the fuck off about this shit. Because you can see it as a man on the difference, experiencing this shit. You have supernatural interface.
Some of the things you told me were not normal. There was definitely interference, which I've experienced too. And what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
What I was going to say is they're playing women like, oh, you were oppressed for this long, so now you need to bounce back the other way and be in your masculine and all this shit. No, we both need a fucking balance and know our divine roles. All this information comes to you naturally when you tap the higher force. It's not about anything external. We're having an interface with all this stuff. Yeah. We're on the ground level. We are the tip of the spear right fucking here.
Goddamn right, right. Most of humanity right now is standing at the first veil to be crossed in terms of the thresholds. Me and my crew and other people that have been doing this work, we pierced the fourth veil. You're talking about access to the 13th gate all the way up to 15D. That's where I'm at in terms of my personal path work. We are literally anchoring divine masculine templating into the world so to pull and standing our ground and informing other people what is really going on. And this war on men right now, you can all go fuck yourselves because it ain't going to stand for our kind. No matter what being it is, whether it's a man or a woman, a lizard or a goddamn fucking insectoid, I don't give a fuck. This path work is about self-mastery here on ground level, and it's about becoming sovereign. Otherwise, you'll just be a conditioned fucking slave. And that's where most people fucking are. We're about truth. We're about freedom. We're about authentic love. And the cross correspond in terms of everything.
It's wild, man. For a while, it was pretty difficult living in two worlds and expecting people to get it, especially when you're talking about family and friends and loved ones. But I realized not everyone's going to get it. And I can plant seeds along the way. And if they take it and grow, great. But if not,
you go fuck yourselves.
Right.
These motherfuckers were given chance after chance after fucking chance to get it right. I railed against the councils in terms of what was implemented even before this incarnation, that these fuckers were going to be given another chance. I said they're just going to do the exact same fucking thing that they did before. What did they do in 2020? The exact same thing that they did before. Who were the individuals saying this? It was women that positioned themselves on the front lines and then got taken the fuck over, calling for this shit.
They know how to play people really well, man.
I'm talking about prominent individuals that have been out there for a long time. We need to love them back to themselves. No, you can't. That's the curse of Sophia. When Idun fell, she became Sophia. Idun was the alignment. Idun. to Udenman and things in terms of the golden apples. This is what the Greeks appropriated from the Nordic tradition in terms of the nectar of immortality. We have this in physical form. I sent you some. What was your experience with the nectar of Athanasia?
It's good, and I want more. I started taking it recently, and I've been lit up ever since, and I definitely want more. It goes back to ancient chem, like you're talking about. Gold, this is a thing. It's real. Coats your DNA. It assists in.
And it's not some cheap counterfeit. It's the original recipe, brother. Of the actual legacy that existed before what happened in Kemet did, and the rise of the cult of Aton through the 19th dynasty. Most of what people know about Kemet is only from the 19th dynasty onward. Whereas the true history of Kemet goes back
so far.
Millions of fucking years into prehistory.
Because victors write history, and the ones who fell and fucking rewrote everything.
The House of the Net, dude, sided with the Brotherhood of the Snake. What came forth, the cult of Aton, out of the Sumerian Draconian Empire, but even before then, in context to Atlantis and Lemuria. And there's discrepancy in terms of Atlantis. Yeah, there was some dark shit that happened in Atlantis, but even worse shit happened in context to fucking Lemuria. Straight up fucking vampires and cannibalism and blood. And this is where all the blood cults get their fucking shit from. The Abrahamic blood sacrifice. And the original history revealing that when the betrayals took place, all of the fucking men, for the most part, were fucking slaughtered, dude. Some of us got the fuck out. All of those that got out vowed that we would return in terms of the procession. And this is that divine blueprint in terms of the masculine force that they don't want to fucking activate. Individuals that are actual template holders, let alone those that are going to become stewards in context. And you're going to come learn about the true history. You're going to come talk to both me and Seth Lavine, and we're going to break it the fuck down. It is the rise of Asor. It is the rise of Horus.
I wanted to compound on what you were saying earlier about women falling for this shit. One of the tricks that these fallen ones use on people is to use love against them, to try to get them to take their guard down and let things in that are impure through love. Hold the line. We need to have the highest love in our heart. Also cut your fucking head off if you try to destroy my family. That's where people get it twisted. Let it all in because it's love. No.
Having a boundary is necessary because of what the fuck has happened. If you don't know that, you're naive as fuck. And they're fucking fodder, man. If you don't have cosmic street smarts, you're fucked.
I've seen that it's very common for them to not have the discernment to be spiritually protected. I've seen a lot of them get taken over by a darker force and manipulated through. I've seen it time and time again. That protection lacking, discernment. These beings will work through people, trigger them really easily, pull them off their center, spiral out real quick, and you got to trace it back to where did it get in? Where's the kink in the armor? Because they're going to go through all your weaknesses. They're going to target all your fucking weaknesses. But if you're fucking solid and you know who you are, it takes work to get there because it's being twisted up in society.
One of the things that I recognize in terms of actual fucking attacks that come in of energy, frequency, and vibration, the frequency and energy of antagonism and contention on a fucking trigger, man. This is one of the main tactics. And also fear. Fear is not a human emotion, it's a spiritual force. Plaguing primal fears, targeting our greatest fears. And in terms of connection and relationship, it's always the fear of abandonment. It always comes back to a fear of loss, the fear of not surviving. We've been conditioned to be afraid of who the fuck we truly are because that's what the fuck they fear. This fucking paradox between men and women. If you can't get it right within yourself, if you don't know thyself, how you expect to get it right with somebody else? That's the compensation. You're trying to get it right with other fucking people, but you ain't even getting it right with yourself.
Right.
Have healthy boundaries and be able to discern in terms of the alignment with your core intelligence and the war on the family unit, the divide and conquer between men and women within the individual as men and women. And then even further than that, right on down to the fucking goddamn genome now, men that know the fucking difference. We're looking at this shit like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm talking about the rise of Osiris, man.
We've experienced a lot of interference and targeting on a supernatural level. We have to have resonant frequencies. The women I were with were not sovereign. They let stuff in and it caused problems. When you're doing your work, you will attract a resonant partner, which is happening now. It's fucking beautiful, man. And so I'm realizing everything plays its role. I just got to keep the focus back on me rather than the world because it's fucking whack. I've experienced many different councils. There was this council, I could tell that they were questionable. They appeared to me benevolent at first. This was before I had developed discernment. I had had many interactions with them and pulled me out of body onto their ship. This is a giant cube next to the sun. And this has actually been seen on the Soho satellite coming in and out of the sun.
I know what you're talking about, man.
They took me there and I saw on all the walls that there was all these Egyptian glyphs. It felt fucking amazing being there. I'm not going to lie. But I could tell the energy there was coming from them harvesting people out of alignment. To them, it was a game. They thought that that gave them the okay to harvest people's energy. At first, they put on a projection portraying some image of some deity. And at first, I thought it was true. And then they slowly started to reveal more and more of their true selves to me. I'm on this ship. I see this woman move and she had all these different facets, like overlays. And I could see the last one that was there. It was a vampire hag. And I saw her true form. That's when I realized, oh shit, these are all overlays. These beings are fucking vampires. It's this same fallen ones from Atlantis.
If people do not think that the vampires don't exist, they fucking exist.
But first they tried to destroy me. And then they tried to get me to join them. Told them to fuck off. And I realized that there was multiple different councils and multiple different agendas. The way I see it, there's the true light. And then there's this fallen system over it. It goes into these trickster energies of the false light and it's skewed way to the dark. And so it's this overlaid system.
Yep.
And I think that it has something to do with this ship that's sitting next to the sun, manipulating the energy, the soul stream coming from the sun.
Yeah. And again, in terms of the law of correspondence, the heavens above are within us. Everything happening out there in the heavens is essentially happening within us. And that is a metaphysical reflection of the state and the condition a lot of people on Earth are in, getting fucking siphoned and fed off of in terms of fuel lining their fucking grid works. You saw this shit. Explain a little bit more what you mean in terms of this Egyptian imagery, because again, in terms of what happened in Kemet, when the betrayals took place from the 19th dynasty onward, that's when Kemet became corrupt. That's when sorcery came into the fucking world.
Dude, they took me to their ship. They took over our temples for their purposes, trying to make humans into cattle. And it has to do with the Abrahamic religion directly and this same pantheon of beings who are responsible for the fall of Atlantis. The sun is blasting out frequencies. The earth is raising in frequency. It can be monitored through the Schumann resonance and different equipment. This 26,000 year cycle, and we're in the photon belt right now, a changeover from the Kali Yuga into the next Yuga cycle. We're in this ascension window. The dark ones are trying to stop it and get people to, not tap into who they are. But the frequency is raising and raising and raising. There's so much assistance here, but it's still up to us. And the way I see it is we have to be frequency specific to where the earth is heading. If we're not going to be able to exist here. If people aren't doing their work, they're going to fall off. They're going to drop off. It's the system's way of cleaning itself.
These motherfuckers have their underground bunkers set the fuck up, dude. That's another fucking thing. They got seed vaults and all this other crazy fucking shit. What the fuck are they preparing for? I think it goes back to what happened before, just in case. There are things that we can do in terms of actual path work that are going to have a direct effect, not only on the earth in terms of where we stand, making the earth our altar, but we are going to witness phenomenon within the heavens like we have. When you do the real work, you will witness shit that will blow your fucking mind. It's blowing your fucking mind. I've definitely been on ships as well. I've been in abduction scenarios and all this different shit that we hear about in my lab, psyops that are going on. I kept on getting pulled out on ops where the real war is taking place and where we're working to hold this shit the fuck back. It's a multidimensional paradox. It's just absolutely undeniable when you cross the threshold as a shaman. I'm not talking about a researcher. I'm not talking about someone that's just kind of dabbling and you know a little bit about what the fuck is going on in terms of government and corporations, all of that lower tier shit. I'm talking about the real shaman shit. This is why the world is in the condition that it is, because the ancient wisdom councils, having been in their positions throughout the fucking aeons, were almost completely and totally eradicated off the fucking map to the betrayals and all this different kind of fucking shit. There's cross streams in terms of genetics and templating and codes and the blood, but it's not going to stop the inevitable in terms of the actual gate to the original timeline trajectory open for those to whom it's meant. All of this goes back to the White Dragon prophecy. And I've already met with the Red Dragon tribes face to face. I presented them with the gold. Things were acknowledged. Next, I'm going to hail the Black Dragons of the South. So it's already fucking happening. The prophecy. This is why the actual fucking history has to be known, man. Otherwise, the counterfeit inversion pulled into, especially if there was some kind of fake alien fucking invasion.
Oh man, I'm glad you brought that up, because I've known about this for quite a while. That's one of the last cards they're going to play to try to unite everyone against a foreign force and create a one world government and all that stuff. And so they're already starting to disclose that it's real on TV. They're prepping people's minds for the card that they play.
But you can see clearly that this is an agenda in terms of the fucking Dark Ones implementing their plans.
100%. So whatever card they play, if they're like, oh, they're our friends and they're here for such and such. No, they're here to fucking key you into their bullshit. And if they're like, oh, they're our enemies, we need to fight them, they're trying to make people afraid of the good ones. So whatever card they play, the opposite is what's really happening. And they might fly around in their craft and blow shit up and blame it on the good ones. That's on the table.
Yeah.
There's more false flags like what happened in 2020. There's more of that coming, probably going to be 2025. So people prepare yourselves.
I warned about this year. Things have already taken place, but in terms of what is coming, they just got fucking started. Delegations were denied in terms of the fucking councils. They completely rejected the delegations, and that's when transfers of power took place with the Omicron Draconian. And where did we hear that in terms of the variant?
Right.
You can't make this shit the fuck up, dude.
Right? It's in
I exposed the goddamn fucking Omicron back in 2017, and even people before me, in terms of actual occult knowledge, many people don't fucking know about the Mu variant.
Right?
That's what the fuck is really going on. And all of the cosmic true occult history of what is taking place here on Earth, this platform, Black Earth Productions, I'm not fucking around. And I don't just bring someone on for no fucking reason. Me and Lavine here are breaking it the fuck down. You want a true sense of disclosure, you're getting it here. You're not going to get this anywhere else. Not like this. Because they're already fucking here. And they have been here for a very long fucking time. And wait until the right fucking moment to come out and then reinforce their fucking shit. Do you think for a single fucking second that they want humanity to know the fucking truth?
Right.
Fuck no, dude.
Look at the lengths they go to confuse everything and cross people up in every single area everywhere.
Right. That's what I'm getting at.
The only way to tap into the truth is to do the work. The few people who are actually in integrity, like you and I and a few others who are doing the work and putting it out there. A lot of people are just doing this because they want to make a name for themselves.
No, this shit landed on me, and I've experienced things I wish I never fucking experienced, especially when it comes to these 11 forces and what we're really actually fucking up against. You think it's the government fucking banksters and the fucking Rothschilds? Motherfuckers, you have no idea the real game that's going the fuck on behind the fucking veils. That's all that lower tier shit, man. That ain't fucking nothing. You think I'm fucking concerned about their meat sacks on ground fucking level after I face their fucking overlords? When they have to fucking respect our position in terms of fucking templating and actual jurisdiction here, they can go fuck themselves. Not going out there on a provocation, leave us the fuck alone and allow us to work with the people that are ready to graduate this motherfucker. Not to start shit. Otherwise, you're going to have to contend with the fucking force that we're in alliance with. There is no mark, there is no bang that's going to prevent this. Throughout all of the aeons, you motherfuckers have no say, and you will be utterly fucking crushed and forced, eradicated the fuck off into fucking space dust. That's the solution as far as I'm concerned, man. That's our right, and that's their right as well. What do you say in terms of actual solutions here?
It's about us doing our work. It's about self-mastery, and it ignites others and spreads and spreads and spreads. I'd like to remind people that this whole universe is transparent. You might think you're alone behind closed doors. The whole universe has eyes on you from every fucking angle. Light, dark, all of it. The whole fucking time. Hold yourself accountable because your ancestors are literally fucking watching you. Get out of your mind. Take a step back and observe yourself, and then back up observing yourself, and see everything from a broad spectrum, and let the fuck go of the past, burn the past because it's done, and start to create your reality. Be aware of your thoughts, be aware of your emotions, come back to that strength, and don't get fallen into all these traps and tricks and nets and snares that are everywhere.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, link up with your brothers and sisters and fucking start something new. This is what we're here to do. And
instead of being hung up on all this fucking bullshit and confused, not knowing the fucking difference, not seeing our actual position and power in terms of what can be executed, especially as men in this fucking world, because we are that spear tip. It's that bloody spear tip that's ripping through the reptilian brain, slicing and dicing this shit to fucking goddamn fucking shreds. You ain't gonna stop the force that is backing us the fuck up. Don't even fucking try to fuck with me, because there's a force that I'm connected to that if you cross a certain fucking line, you're gonna get your goddamn fucking ass handed to you. And not because I necessarily even fucking want that. You don't fuck with our kind. Especially at this point in terms of the procession. So, Lavine, I want to thank you for coming on, brother. This was fucking excellent, sharing your experience. This is something I've never done on Black Earth Productions, and I'm glad that you're the first one I've been able to do it with, man.
Thanks for having me, brother, and hopefully we'll do this again soon.
Excellent. All right, man. Catch you later. Everyone go into the description and check out links to get in contact with Seth Lavine. As for things in terms of Black Earth Productions and the Mystery School, everybody go to the website at blackearthproductionswithaz.com. If anybody out there is interested in initiation into the Mystery School, click on the services page, read through everything in terms of level 1 full rights initiation. There is a payment plan in terms, and you're going to want to send me a direct email at blackearthproductions@hotmail.com. Those that have already been initiated, all of you have full access to the Black Earth Library, and with what's been implemented in terms of the Black Earth Library, there is an upgrade made available. And also for those who inquire to the Black Earth Library on its own, that upgrade is made available for you as well. Especially those in terms that line things out for the level 1 apprentice full rights initiation into the Mystery School. Level 2 adept Ulfadnar training is made available for those that have already come into level 1 apprentice full rights with the Mystery School. And as to the upgrades, the metaphysical celestial psychology reading is something I highly encourage everyone to line out. It's going to be a great benefit in terms of navigating not only what is here, but navigating everything in terms of what is coming. Things in terms of the products page are still under construction. Everything will be back up accordingly. And as a reminder to let you know that everything that was up before is still made available. The Nectar of Athanasia, the most powerful elixir on the face of the entire earth, at a 50% off discount in terms of credentials for those that have been initiated. Thunder God Root Vine, things in terms of the apothecary, our weapons forge, and our merch line are also made available. And if you want to know anything specifically about those things, at this point, you're going to want to message me directly again at blackearthproductions@hotmail.com. Other services are made available. Other readings are made available. Everything I do on this platform is 100% confidential. It is one-on-one with individuals in terms of everything. And once things reach a certain point in terms of your pathwork trajectory, I 100% guarantee that you will get the results. Not only will you get the results required in terms of the rites of initiation into the Mystery School, but you will get the results required for you to come into alignment with your true purpose, the true will, and the alignment to which you've incarnated here on Earth. And as to the procession of the Grand Cycle, we hail the true Aeon of Horus Uru. Thy rest was deep at slumber's hour, if thou didst not hear the blast of the savage horn from the mountain tower as the wild night huntsman passed, and the roar of the stormy chase went by through the dark, unquiet sky. The Covenant's chanted rite was stayed, and the hermit dropped his beads, and a trembling ran through the forest shade at the nigh of the phantom steeds. And as the church bell's ring pealed to the rocking blast, the wild night huntsman passes. This is Seth Bausell, Black Earth Productions, Blue Flame, Healing Arts, and Occult Science. Temple of the White Dragon. Be empowered. Be encouraged.